fallout, smoke, women crying for their sons because their sons are not, Romans killing riotous groups that are rising up. Free Judea, free our people, autonomy for Israel. You had Herod, an Edomite, and his dynasty. Herod's ruling, killing any potential threat, any potential Messiah. Then you had the Pharisees and the Sadducees that we learn from Josephus are not Jews by birth. No.
Right? Now look at these. Yeah, I'm telling you, I gotta show y'all. A picture speaks 1,000 words. Just look for yourself. And this is the creme de la creme. All praises be to the Most High, y'all. Everything we've been through, y'all, the Most High is going to retribute it on all the nations that have had a hand in the oppression of his apple, the apple of his eye, his chosen people, his beloved, his fervent lover, his only begotten. They're going to have their part in the lake of fire. You see them tormented by some kind of creature. I don't even know what that even is, y'all. Judgment in chains. He that led into captivity shall go into captivity. All praise to the Most High, y'all. What group of people have gone through the full extent of this terror, servitude, yoke of iron, a nation with an eagle image, immigrants coming in after them rising up and getting reparation offers, their kids being sold into captivity, you having kids but not enjoying them because they splitting up families, you betrothing a wife but another man laying with her. Y'all gotta look at the power of a prophecy prophesied thousands of years ago. Moses was a bad man, but even more bad than Moses was the Most High Yah, the dreadful and terrible Almighty Creator, who prophesied every lick of this on our black behinds, and it came to pass without fail. Now let's look at verse 68. It said, "Thou that dwells in the clefts of the rock." Whoa, I know a lot of y'all know about the Caucasus Mountains. Let's just let the word speak. Let's go to verse 4. "Though you exalt yourself as the eagle, and though you set thy nest among the stars." What's up, Zion Dynasty? This is your favorite dreaded Israelite, the man, the myth, and the legend, Mr. JB Zion. Y'all already know the do. Show me some love, show me some love. Your boy is back in the flesh, about to hit y'all with another banger. All glory, honor, dominion, power, majesty, world without end to the mighty one of Jacob, the holy one of Israel, the redeemer of Zion, the resurrector of the dry bones of Ezekiel, the bringer back together again of the 12 tribes of the mightiest nation to ever live on this earth. All praises be to the Most High, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. And first, family, I want to say peace, love, blessings, and black power to all my Israelite brothers and sisters, all my Hebrew Israelite kings and queens. I could not do this without y'all. Our family could not do this without y'all. Zion Dynasty would be nothing without all of y'all's love and support, but not just y'all. All of our Gentile brothers and sisters, those that are not lost in the goon squad sauce.
In the goon squad sauce.
Of all these doubters, these urban apologist Christian junkies that think they doing the Most High will.
To be able to learn absolutely diddly squat. But you know, Israel don't weary, whosoever will, let him come.
Stopping the awakening of his people. They think they're doing the Most High's will by destroying his firstborn. They think they're doing the Most High's will by creating a Christian doctrine and dogma that says that his firstborn, his beloved, is done away with, y'all. I just get so fired up about this stuff. And I gotta say this. To all y'all that's on here that's trolling and doing all these things, bring the smoke. Your boy ain't gonna stop. Let's go, Yoruba. Benai Ephraim of the tribe of Joseph. I come ready, y'all. I come with receipts. This is the channel where we got Harvard, we got Cambridge, we got Oxford, we got the UNESCO authors, we got the Library of Congress, we got FBI, White House memorandum. We got all the receipts to prove that the so-called black two-continent slap is in fact the descendants of the biblical Israel, that the West African tribes that we come from, the sub-Saharan Negro, all of those so-called blacks We are actually descendants of the biblical Israel, and this is the channel where we do these things, y'all. This is the channel where we bring that smoke each and every day. So I want to say welcome to each and every one of y'all. I love you all with everything that's in us, y'all. Y'all just give me so much passion and motivation to do this work, to resurrect the greatest work that there is, to resurrect the very people of the Most High God, the dry bones that Ezekiel saw. We're living in the greatest awakening in human history, where the Most High is taking a people that was left for dead, a people that everybody turned their back on, a people that Satan thought his schemes and his plots and his agenda has succeeded, right? And destroying the Most High Yahweh's people. But the Most High said, they don't know me like y'all do. Yes, no. That the Most High is resurrecting our people in this season. And we could not do this work without y'all. So if you guys want to support and all that good stuff, I'm going to put that Cash App up. If you guys want to give, donate, however the Most High leads y'all, we could not do this without y'all. It just puts us in position to make this full time, where this is all we do is just study this research, get these receipts, read these books, do these different things for you all, and present that to you guys, so you know without a shadow of a doubt that despite what Satan says, despite what some of your friends and family might try to say about,
oh, you crazy, or you done lost your mind, or y'all think that Israel matter, or the Most High done done away with Israel.
All these naysayers and doubters that don't know the scripture, that don't know the historicity of the text, that don't know the cultural nuances by which the pens of the very apostles and prophets scribe the very holy oracle of Yah. They don't know that like we do, y'all. And this is the channel where I'm going to equip you guys with the history, with the DNA, with the archaeology, with the Ivy League sources, to be able to prove our history as a people. Knowing all the slave records, the slave database, knowing that the predominant tribes that we came from, such as the Igbo, the Yoruba, the Limba, the Akan, all of these were a specific family of Israelites that migrated from the land of Israel and are in present day West and Sub-Saharan Africa. All praises. So I just give this work to you all this research, I bring it to my family, and y'all, this is the video. Let's go. We are about to expose the royal family of Edom. Now, y'all, I'm gonna do a quick recap of Edom, and we're jumping right back into it. So we know that Esau would be the last ruling empire to rule the earth from a prophetic Judeo-scripture standpoint, right? We talked about Esau, that he would be a cleft dwelling in the clefts of the rock, according to the book of Obadiah, that he would seek to set his nest in the stars. We looked at Neil Armstrong, the eagle has landed.
Tranquility Base here. The eagle has landed.
Persian, meaning that Rome, Edom, America, that's going to be the last one standing. Meaning that Rome, Edom, America, that's going to be the last one standing. Meaning that Rome, Edom, America, that's going to be the last one standing.
Not just that, but we looked at the secret apocryphal book by the prophet Ezra during the Medo-Persian captivity, during the time of Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, where Ezra himself says in 2nd Esdras, chapter 6, verse 9, that Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. So we went through the statue vision of Nebuchadnezzar that Daniel interpreted. We also looked at the 4 beasts. That was a piggyback parallel to the statue. That the statue vision, the 4 beasts are the same, right? And in Daniel's vision, he sees an iron-legged people, a iron mixed with clay people, both of which are Rome, that 4th and final beast that he was not given an animal to. We went back to Ezra, and Ezra sees this eagle that comes out of the sea. Why is this significant? Because the Apostle John in Revelation chapter 13 sees that 4th beast that Daniel saw come up out of the sea. Daniel didn't have the animal. John sees that beast coming out of the sea. Ezra says it is an eagle animal coming out of the sea. So we know that Esau is the last ruling empire. Edom would be the last people to rule before Yeshua returns. Their image would be an eagle. They would exalt themselves as the eagle. They would dwell in the clefts of the rock. They would come get our people as swift as the eagle flies during the transatlantic to take us to America. So we know that this eagle people is a Roman empire, a Roman construct linked to ancient Rome, modern European NATO and America, And these people would be the last ruling superpower that would rule in this critical race theory based driven selfish society. Why do I set Esau up? Because Edom prophetically has a royal family, y'all, and we're about to deal with the serpent people. We're about to talk about the Khazars, and we're going to talk about the Germanic, Ukrainian, Russian, Khazarian people that created the Jewish state in 1948. We're about to talk about it. And then in the following year, in 1949, they set up NATO, which was founded by those 10 original European countries with America as well as Canada. Right now, I think it's about 27 countries. But behind the scene of the harlot, the mystery Babylon, America, behind NATO, was always this Jewish, Khazarian, unseen hand that was moving things all the while. So y'all, now we're about to deal with all of that. We're about to deal with those Khazars, specifically their royal family, known as, drum roll please, the Rothschild Dynasty. We are about to deal with this $500 trillion net worth plus people, this Rothschild dynasty of big bankers, the Federal Reserves, the central banking system of America, the central banking system of London, a lot of these European countries, the reason for the world wars. Right, we're going to deal with it. We're going to deal with Napoleon trying to kick against them. Y'all, this is going to be a multi-part series because it's a lot of history to cover their influence. Not just that, but that Rothschild Jewish family is also responsible with dominating the slave trade, funding the first slave ships, right? Not just that, but the predominant amount of the plantation owners were Jewish people. Y'all, we're about to deal with this family. We're about to uncover the skirt of this secret family. And first, family, I'm gonna show you all a brief clip about the central banking system so you can get a working understanding of the Federal Reserve before we go right into it. So, y'all check this clip out.
Today we're finding out about one of the most famous and wealthy families in the world, the Rothschilds. Originating in Germany and France, the Rothschild family have been a significant banking dynasty since the 1760s. Throughout the 19th century, the family could claim to have the largest private fortune in the world, and they developed their banking empire across Europe. At one point, they were said to control half of the money in the world. The family are rumored to have financed the Napoleonic Wars. Demonstrating that they can control everything but the weather, the Rothschilds have apparently bankrolled numerous wars and conflicts to try and influence the result. They would loan money to the governments to help them fight the war, and then profit when they were repaid. Relying on the inevitable economic collapse that generally follows a lost war, they even profited from the defeat of countries. Number 3. They have far more money than they're willing to reveal. Supposedly, the Rothschild family have a net worth of $250 billion when their various assets and companies are taken into account. With so many members and so many vast fortunes, though, skeptics believe they could be worth well over $1 trillion. Their creepy secret parties looked like bizarre satanic rituals. One of the most famous Rothschild parties was their Surrealists Ball in 1972, which had Audrey Hepburn and Salvador Dali in attendance. Many have read into the details of the party, including the backwards invitations, red lights, and bizarre masks and sculptures, as clear evidence that the family are comfortable and regularly practice Satanism. To most people, it looks like how very rich people spend their money. Number 5. They are said to have manipulated the gold market for over 2 centuries. In 2004, the Rothschilds officially pulled out of the gold market, but prior to that, they ran N.M. Rothschild, which was established in 1810. The company would host meetings twice a week and essentially set the world's gold price with the help of other firms, such as HSBC and the Deutsche Bank. The day that N.M. Rothschild announced it would close its doors, the price of gold fell by $7 an ounce. Want to find out what other billionaires get up to? Watch our video about the 10 countries with the highest number of billionaires. Nathan Rothschild once referred to the King of England as a puppet. The Rothschilds have never been afraid to flaunt their power and influence. Nathan Rothschild was once quoted as saying the man who controls Britain's money supply controls the British Empire, referring to his own family, of course. Nathaniel Meyer Rothschild also claimed that if he's given control of the credit of a nation, it's irrelevant who makes the laws. The family have the real estate to back up their claims, too. When Wilhelm I visited James Rothschild's famous Paris mansion, he commented that kings could not afford this. It could only belong to a Rothschild. Number 10. Some believe that the Rothschilds are responsible for every U.S. recession and depression for the past 2 centuries. Whether it's a conspiracy theory or not, it's easy to see why the Rothschilds might be responsible for every fluctuation in the U.S. and European economies. If they can dictate gold prices and the outcome of a war, as well as controlling the Federal Reserve Bank, then surely they can decide when we have a depression too. The family funded Britain's stake in the Suez Canal. Former British Prime Minister Benjamin Disraeli wanted shares in the Suez Canal, so he reportedly borrowed £4 million from then Baron Rothschild. Disraeli couldn't get the funds from the Queen or the Foreign Office, so he turned to another wealthy source. This formed a very strong friendship between the Rothschilds and Disraeli.
Family, there is so much that we have to deal with just in that clip alone. Okay, so first of all, family, I have to remind you all that we've been talking about the book of Revelation and showing the correlation that the Most High gave our ancestors. He showed our Negro, Judean, Israelite forefathers the entire blueprint of Satan, this dragon, this beast, and the second beast. These are the key components that we're going to talk about in this video. Now, we saw from that Rothschild beautifully constructed documentary a lot of things. First of all, the Rothschilds have such power that when they want the price of gold to rise or when they want it to fall, they dictate that. Not just that, but they talked a little bit about the Federal Reserve banking. The Federal Reserve is the United States' central banking system. Understand, every major European country has one. The Bank of London is also the central banking for Britain, I believe. So every European country has this central banking system. Now, the ones that tried to fight against it, we'll talk about Napoleon and France and that whole Napoleonic War saga, right? But so let's understand, the Rothschild family dictates the prices of gold. Not just that, but with the banking system, they decide when the money is printed in America. Understand, the Federal Reserve of America is a private-owned banking system. I repeat, it is privately owned. It is not a federal agency or a federal subsidiary and that kind of thing. It is entirely privately owned by these Rothschilds. Now, we'll go into Mayer Bauer. Before he changed his name to Rothschild, he was the father of his 5 sons, his Rothschild sons, that he instructed to go to various major European segments and to establish central banking. So now let's go back to Revelation. So in the book of Revelation, it is masterfully constructed in terms of prophetic awareness. Y'all gotta understand, the entire saga of the great red dragon, the beast that comes out of the sea, and the new beast that comes out of the sea, this is the end time playbook. Understand, we talked about that great red dragon that wars against the woman that's crowned with the 12 tribes stars on her head, that is clothed with the sun and has the moon under her feet, that there are at least 4 layers to that vision. First, there's this great red dragon that when John looks up to the sky, he sees all black. And he is just staring into the pupil of this great enormous dragon that fills heaven. Now we know that that's the first layer. That story of this ginormous red dragon warring against this woman. Not just that, but it also represents Herod coming against Mary, because Mary was going to give birth to Yahusha, right? Not just that, but Herod's people, the Edomites, coming against the Israelite descendants perpetually. We looked in the book of Exodus chapter 17 that the Most High told Joshua that he would war against Amalek in every generation. There would be this perpetual hatred between Edom and Israel. But not just that. That great red dragon gives power to both the beasts that we read about in the next chapter of Revelation. That dragon is able to create the ancient Roman Empire, that first beast, but not just that first beast, the second beast the nations would be deceived by. They would see this beast as like a lamb, as a Christian country. We connected that with America and the European Union, right? The world would be deceived by that second beast into worshiping the dragon. Now, the key element when we're talking about the Rothschilds is that this great red dragon gives power to the beast. We understand in Proverbs chapter 22 verse 7 that the rich rules over the poor. I repeat, the rich rules over the poor. When you look at power, understand that there is a strong financial component. So let's go back to that red dragon. That red dragon gives power, funding, economic ability to that new Roman Empire led by America and the European nations. Understand, America's a puppet. Understand, NATO's a puppet. They were formed in 1949. The year after, in 1948, the Jewish people got a state. Now let's look at that documentary. I'm gonna break that thing down. Britain was given funding from the Rothschilds to create the Suez Canal. Oh boy, y'all gotta hear me what I'm talking about. Y'all gotta take notes, and just take notes. So the Rothschilds had already made an agreement in the Balfour Declaration with Britain to give them that land of Canaan. And in return, they would aid them in the World War. Understand, the Rothschilds determined who won a war and who lost the war. They funded on both sides. They learned that banking system so well that they gained so much economic power that they were funding nations, y'all. They were giving nations the power economically to get their weapons, their guns, their artillery, everything they needed for the troops. So whoever they funded the most won. But not just that. Whatever country lost, the Rothschilds already knew, so they would invest their stock at the last second in the country that was about to win. First, they would have everybody think, yeah, it's not looking too good in the World War. We think that, you know, the Allies and this kind of thing. And they would finesse all the people to move all their stocks. And at the last second, because they really knew, they would change it. So they would get so much money that they would bankrupt countries that lost wars. Y'all, we are finna go through all this. And before I go too deep, let me show y'all some of the sources, because you know your boy come with receipts. When we prove that we're Israel, I went to Harvard, Cambridge, Oxford, the Library of Congress, the White House Memorandum, the Jewish Encyclopedia. We go through receipts on this channel, and I could not do this without y'all. So let me show y'all the receipts we're gonna use in this video. We're gonna go to the creature from Jekyll Island. Now, Jekyll Island was the island that these Rothschilds came together and they formulated their strategy of Federal Reserve, central banking, bought off the necessary politicians. All of that is documented. This is the 5th edition. You can get it off Amazon by Griffin. The creature from Jekyll Isle. We're gonna go through that. Not just that, but we're gonna refer back to Shlomo Sand, the Jewish geneticist that taught at the University of Tel Aviv scholarship, and he is also an Ashkenazi Jew. So he also links these Ish people back to the Khazars. We're gonna have to deal with the Khazars to understand the Rothschild dynasty. Y'all, this is a series and there's a lot of information. So y'all, it's gonna be a couple of videos where we're gonna go through all this information. Arthur Koestler in the 13th tribe. He also is an Ashkenazi Jew that says that the modern Ish people have no connection to the biblical descendants of the Negro Israelites. He goes through that in his book, and he's an Ashkenazi Jew. Not just that, but Colonel Curtis Bean Dahl, who was the first husband of Anna Roosevelt, who is the daughter of FDR, the president. He also leaks the $5 trillion secret of America being bought out by the Ish people. That goes back to what I told y'all, that the dragon, this Edomite family, in the Bible times, it was Herod, but right now it's the Rothschilds. They are that synagogue of Satan that we see. Let's go to Revelation 2:9. So in Revelation chapter 2, verse 9, it says, I know thy works and tribulation and poverty. This is how you know who it's talking to. It can't be them Ish people. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan. In Revelation chapter 3, the next chapter, verse 9, he says, behold, I will make, now this is in red letters, this is Yahushua the Hamashiach himself saying it. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I, the Most High Yah, have loved thee. Y'all understand? This end time Jewish people are Khazarian, Ukrainian, Russian, a royal Edomite family that has performed the greatest hoax and case of identity theft in human history by swapping with the original Israelites, funding the slave trade, the transatlantic of 1619, sending us into captivity to better secure their swap. They know that we're in captivity. They funded the slave ships. We're going to go through that in this series. They did all these things so that they can secure their strategy and in terms of swapping our identity. Now let's go back to the Rothschilds. So we see the Rothschilds are responsible for the Federal Reserve, the central banking of Europe. Not just that, they determine the price of gold. I'm going to show y'all a clip where this Israelite brother, and I do give kudos to this brother, tried to use his counselship to expose these wicked people and these wicked Rothschilds, this wicked Edomite family. He tried to expose them, and it almost cost him his position. Let's look at that.
Around the globe this evening, in a Facebook video during last Friday's brief snow shower, Trayon White repeated a notorious conspiracy theory that Jewish bankers are manipulating the weather for financial gain. The Ward 8 council member has deleted that video and apologized, but he espoused the very same conspiracy theory a few weeks ago. Bruce LeShan has reaction.
Man, it just started snowing out of nowhere.
In the age of Facebook, nothing is gone forever.
Climate control.
Trayon White's outlandish comments while driving through Friday's snowflakes have now been downloaded and shared around the world.
The Rothschilds controlling the climate to create natural disasters they can pay for it and own the cities, man. Be careful.
The Rothschilds are an old Jewish banking family from Germany. Even now, they are at the center of conspiracy theories spread on Russian TV. Nazi propagandists scapegoated the Rothschilds too.
To insinuate that the Jewish people are somehow manipulating and in charge of the weather, the climate, and you put it on your personal Facebook page.
Well, Bruce, for one, I don't want to make light of anything I said, but it was made in light.
White was even more explicit a few weeks ago.
It's the Rothschilds control the World Bank, as we all know.
The mayor, city administrator, and the president of the University of the District of Columbia failed to challenge White then, but the mayor now calls the comments hurtful and wrong. In an exclusive interview for Off Script with Bruce Johnson, White apologized.
In a joking manner, which is totally unacceptable, and so I take ownership of it.
The council member spent the day meeting with Jewish leaders.
Bridges are being built.
They seemed willing
one step
to
at a time.
forgive him. But these kind of hurtful conspiracy theories keep coming back.
The Rothschilds controlling the climate.
In D.C., Bruce LeShan, WUSA 9.
So family, I'm telling y'all, this stuff is deep. The brother even accuses them of controlling the climate. So this family controlling the climate, doing things like determining the price of gold. They also tell America and Europe when you're going to print money. We tell you when you're going to print money. And there have been a lot of presidents that tried to fight against this dragon. You look at the founding fathers, they say a lot of them were opposed to central banking. We look at John F. Kennedy said that there is a more sinister plot to destroy America. So y'all, when I tell y'all, some people say, well, you know, JB, it's not black or white, but it's green. Let me tell you, it's both. There is a fine line between keeping our people, the true Israelites, down, which allows the Rothschilds to rise, and them to divide everybody based on finances, based on the haves and the have-nots. The dragon is what creates American policy. They actually funded the Confederacy during the Civil War. We're going to go into that. They are behind the scenes in major war. So they have the central banking. They levy the price of gold. They tell these countries when they're going to print money. They fund wars and determine which side is going to win. They bank off of which side loses. This Rothschild dynasty, founded by Amschel Meyer Bauer, this Rothschild family is the seat synagogue royal noble family of Edom, y'all. They are the devil that the Bible speaks of. So we're going to go through the history of the Rothschilds in more detail. And I'm going to show you that they are the red dragon, the synagogue of Satan, that allows America to do what they do, allows the European Union, the NATO countries, to have the power that they have. America is bought out, y'all. So when y'all say that, man, JB, America is a slave themselves, absolutely. They're all servants of, we read in Revelation, the dragon gives that beast the power. That dragon allowed America to be the superpower, mainly because, y'all understand, mainly because they want to use America to aid, and we're going to talk about that in the $5 trillion secret by Colonel or Colonel Curtis B. Dean, or Dahl, how he talks about how America gives somewhere between $121 million annually to be able to support the Ish people. This is why Trump made Jerusalem the capital of the U.S. Embassy. They owe their allegiance to this people. Every American U.S. president has had to have that kufi on and go over there to the Wailing Wall and pay homage to the Ish people. Y'all, it is so much. So first, let's go through the history of the Federal Reserve. I'm going to show you how these Ish people set this up. And this is a series, y'all, so it's a lot of information. So we're going to jump right into it. So first, when we talk about the Federal Reserve, this is a private-owned bank. This is not a government agency, right? This Federal Reserve determines when the countries print money, and it also affects the interest rates, right? So, and now the quote that you guys are looking at is the Rothschild dynasty has conquered the world more thoroughly, more cunningly, and much more lastingly than all the Caesars before or all the Hitlers after. Wow. So this I'm telling y'all, this royal family, and I'm gonna put on the screen the H.G. Wells quote that connects these Khazarian converts to the modern Ish people. There's so many scholars. Colonel Curtis B. Dahl, we talked about Arthur Koestler, Shlomo Sand, but not just him. There are actually Jewish people that corroborate the influence of this family, but we're gonna talk about them when we talk about the Ish people keeping us bound. Because to fulfill their plot in convincing the world that they are the chosen people, they had to swap. This is where the movie Get Out and Us has to do with these white people inhabiting our identity, hijacking our ethnicity, hijacking our cultural heritage to be able to put us in slavery and then be able to run the world under the guise of the chosen people. So family, they had to perform the greatest case of identity theft in human history by swapping our identity, funding the slave trade. Now we're going to go through a lot of different Ashkenazi Jewish sources, such as Rabbi Dr. let me get his name right. Such as Rabbi Dr. Mark Lee Raphael, who talks about how they dominated the slave trade. Not just him, but Dr. Seymour B. Lehman, who also talks about how a lot of these plantation owners, a lot of these leaders and owners of slaves were the Ish people. So they had to take our identity, and they had to take our identity so that they can swap it as their own history. You know what I'm saying? And this stuff is crazy, y'all. This synagogue of Satan, this great red dragon, gives power to all the other nations to be able to perform this thing. So y'all, when we bash America, we can't really get them too much hell. Well, okay, when I say that, I know y'all like, what, JB? When I say that, this beast system of America, Babylon, these European countries, they get their power from the red dragon. They get their power from the synagogue of Satan. They get their financial power from the Ish people, these Khazarian, Turkish, so-called Jewish people. Now, next we're gonna revisit, family, Revelation chapter 2:9 and Revelation 3:9. Now in Revelation 2:9, it says that I know those that call themselves Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. We also see in Revelation chapter 3 verse 9 that the Most High is going to cause this mighty Jewish family to bow down at his people's feet, to know that he has loved us and not has forgot about us. Now, with that being said, we're going to look at some of the statistics of these Ish people to show you that they are not the people that are the children of God. Why do I bring this up? Because we see in Revelation 2:9 that it says, behold, I know your tribulation and I know your poverty. These Ish people own the earth. They own A&E Network. I'm going to talk about it. A lot of them give us hell. Nick Cannon got hell from that smoke. Whoopi Goldberg, Deshaun Jackson. This is a powerful family that owns Fox. The Fox owner is an Ish person, but not just that Republican conservative side. The Democratic CNN network, yeah, me brother, is also owned by the Ish people. They have dominated the movie industry. That's why every black rapper, you see them have a Jewish agent. Y'all, this stuff is crazy. We see them stay real close to us, but they never tell us how to truly get free. They were marching in the Civil Rights Act and all this stuff and the Civil Rights Movement, and they act like they're trying to ally us, but they don't give us the tools that they use themselves. So we know they're not the true people of God. So also when we see in Revelation 2:9 that it says we know your poverty, the Most High says he knows the poverty his people would have. This can't be the Ish people. Let me give y'all some statistics. So some of the statistics that I found, family, let's check this out. The Jewish people are 2% of the population in America, but are 40% of the billionaires. Now, y'all, this stuff, 2%, yet 40% of all billionaires. 46% of the Ish people make at the very least $100,000. The United States pays them $120 million annually. Not just that, but 100 of the 400 Forbes list people are Ashkenazi Jewish people. Def Jam Records, the Purple Gang, all of these are founded by Jewish people. So a lot of these artists, that's why they put out the pop that booty music, kill your brother, man, I'm a bust a cap, man, all women ain't nothing but H's and B's and all this stuff, because they're made to put that type of music out, y'all, by the power of this family. We know that they can't be the children of the Most High Yah just from that alone, and just based on the amount of wealth that they had. Not just that, but 6 of the 20 leading venture capitals are by the Ish people, y'all. This family is legendary. So y'all, this series, we're gonna go into the Rothschild dynasty, this Rothschild Federal Reserve central banking family, and how they have put our people in slavery, performed the greatest swap in history, and now they run the earth. They control all the European countries, and they are the true seat of Satan, the synagogue of Satan, that would war against y'all's people to the very end, and to the Most High has to show them that they are but men, and that he is he who's going forth has been of old, even from everlasting, to show these nations that y'all but men at the end of the day, that I have allowed you to rule for a set time period, so that I can set you up like Pharaoh, so all the nations can fear that who can stop this beast, who can stop this dragon, and then I show up and show out. Oh my goodness, so we're gonna go into detail on this family, y'all. I hope you took notes. I hope y'all saw all the books that we're gonna reference. We're gonna go into the Federal Reserve in more detail in the next video. So I love you all with the love of the Messiah. Peace, love, blessings, and black power to the chosen race of the Most High Yah, Yoruba, B'nai Ephraim, of the tribe of Joseph. I love you all with the love of the Messiah. Shalom. All praises.